So we're about to go through YM summary here. Chapter 1, Childhood and Dhati, Divine Childhood with Prophetic First Aura. Miracle of the Thwarted Cotton Thieves. Gina went missing from the cotton field, and it was believed that he scared away all the thieves. The childhood vision of Chapaya Shrine when Gina climbs up the tree, sees Chapaya, then early renunciation and temple devotion, rejecting all the worldly pleasures, and first initially tries to renounce and spends all of the time in the temple, fearless truth and principles inquiry of principle Tribhuvan Das. Chapter 2, renunciation. Spends all the time in the temple, spends all the time in the temple, does all the puja duties, does all of the murti duties as well, performs arti. Then Krishna Charan's Daswami tells him, does he want to become a sadhu? He's like, yes, I want to become a sadhu. So then he first tries to renunciate. He and his cousin leave home before sunrise, but they were found in this village and they were then brought back. And then 1 year of temple living, he intensely serves at the mandir, eating once only daily. Then finally, then he is able to Puriva Cook's consent, finally bids him for farewell, and then finally sends him off. Chapter 3, Pasha Diksha, when he gets Pasha Diksha, known as Jina Bhagat from Krishna Charandas Swami, 6 months of cow service, then twice daily does he do visits to Akshardhiri, nurses handicapped and elderly sadhus such as Sadhu Dharmajivan Das and Madhav Priyadas Swami. He has a historical first meeting with Shashi Maharaj in Krishna Ji Ada's house in Rajkot at 4 a.m. Chapter 4, all around Sadhu Bhagavad Diksha, he gets Gyan Jivan Das, 36-kilometer waterless fast to Adilaj step well, has extreme austerity practices, fasts, shun milk, eats very simple food. When Krishna Chandas Mando was supposed to go to Dhari, his native village, he said, no, I do not want to go because of his strict adherence to my sadhu rules. Master cooking and kitchen seva always asks, is this properly coated? Would Swami be pleased? Then after dinner, he is always like, okay, let us clean all these different utensils very swiftly and quickly, so we are in time for Gatha and the Jeshta, chapter 5, under the wings of Shashi Maharaj. This is when he departs Junagadh and to join the mission of Shashi Maharaj. 7 sadhus, they plan to leave Junagadh, and Krishna Charandas gives him even 19 pairs. He says, I will give you 19 pairs of Shiji Maharaj Charanami to stay, but the young sadhu remain absolutely firm in his endeavors. Krishna Charandas Swami is like, okay, I will bless you. These are my blessing. Go and spread this upasana. Then there was an emotional departure from Junagadh where Narayan Bhagat says that, no, we will sorely miss you. But Gnajivan Das remains firm in his composure and his compassion, his will and his drive, has a historic first meeting and union with Shashi Maharaj. And he takes the priceless Hari Krishna Maharaj Murti and goes and travels to Rajkot, where Shashi Maharaj came from, Sarangpur. Chapter 6, sterling qualities. He breaks the vow of not eating kansar because Shashi Maharaj offers it and couldn't refuse his guru. Every single morning he would wake up at 3 a.m. and offer service at the Sarangpur fence mandir. Then he would care for the blind Bhagavat Swarup Das Swami, wash his clothes as Krishna Charan Das Swami had instructed. He would carry 5 bundles to Bochasan, and when Motibai came to welcome these sadhus, he was overwhelmed to see Yogiji Maharaj carrying 2 bundles on each shoulder over his head, yet he was all smiles. In the afternoon, he would take these utensils from the pasha and said, I will scrub this. I haven't had the opportunity to do this type of seva. Then he got beat at Ahmedabad Mandir, Narnaran Mandir, when Chotu Bhai said Akshar Purushottam Maharaj before Thakurji, and then all of these opposing devotees mercilessly beat Shashi Maharaj's sadhus, and Yogiji Maharaj was punished severely in the back. Chapter 7, Mandir construction at Sarangpur. There was extreme poverty during this construction. They half-kilo cooking oil lasting 3 months, barely one meal daily, and it was barefoot grain collection pilgrimages that Yogiji Maharaj used to do, carrying Vignandas and Nirgundas to collect these grains and trudging with just a rosary in hand in the scorching sun overhead, jodi on shoulders, bundle on head. And when Karsang Ji Bapu says, why do you carry such an old sadhu with you on these difficult collection trips? He says, it is my pleasure to do this. He gives me an opportunity to serve a sadhu who is of Paramahan's nature. Shashi Maharaj once tells that, hey, stop loading Yogiji's container with these building materials. Think about him. Think about his stature and glory. A couple of spadefuls are enough. When he saw him bathing in ice cold water on a chilly night, he said, please reduce your zeal for austerity. Then from Vadodara, they got these murtis for the historic Murti installation in Sarangpur. Chapter 8, Living with Vignanda Swami, undeserved beating over missing ghee. There was missing ghee. One of the raw servant forgot ghee. Vignanda Swami blamed Yogiji Maharaj and then said, ordered him to fast because of this. Then, when the Darwab later brought the forgotten ghee, he found Yogiji's face had fresh abrasions, nose swollen, and eyes red with blood with the beating from Vignanda's 32-kilometer forced march without water when there were no devotees that came to meet him at the stage of Vignanda's really be Yogi Maharaj then to walk 32 kilometers in the scorching heat carrying having bundles. He even pierced his calf with pincers from the kitchen and causing him to be unconscious, even pushed him from the Mandir terrace. And then when Vinu Bhagat wrote a 17-page letter detailing all these different ordeals and beatings, Yogi Maharaj tore it up and said, I shared it all to keep it to yourself, not to let others know, maintaining his vow never to speak ill of his Guru Vignandas. Chapter 9 is Swimming Against the Tide. Akshay Purchalam Philosophy Foundation was built in Bochasan. That was the first Akshay Purchalam Mandir that was created despite all these different obstacles. There was physical assaults in many different villages. But the main one, most severe one, was at Giria village. And even then, Yogiji Maharaj refused to file any criminal complaints. There were dismissing of defamatory publications when there were many slanderous pamphlets that were being made, urging legal action. Yogiji Maharaj refused to look at them, laughing off one pamphlet's claims about foreign funds, a hard life, extreme poverty during early Saharanpur Mandir construction. Half-kilo cooking oil lasting 3 months, barely anything to cook. Flooded river, grain collection disaster when collecting grains with Manan Swami. They crossed a 1 foot deep river and about 20 kilograms of flour got drenched and returned with only the rice and the dal. Mumbai walking ministry in rat infested quarters. He used to sleep at this company where it was 5 big rats. And in early Mumbai days, only two satsangis. They walked to this village to the next village. 4 hour discourses made sure to, when they were walking, avoiding horse carriages with women. There was a cobra bite during Gondo construction while sleeping beside Sashti Maharaj near Tamarind Street. Black cobra bit him, but just by saying something, the poison faded away. When Mason wages were due, but coffers empty. Yogi Maharaj wrote in ink on the accounts, Swami Maharaj merciful, and through the Pratana, then Morji Bhai Sheth arrived at noon with 13,000 rupees, 1,300 rupees donation, followed by Shashi Maharaj postal money order for 2,000 rupees. Chapter 11, At Peace with Himself, claims and does katha that Seva is the supreme path to moksha addiction, like Yuga Kashar for Seva, washing clothes to spiritual glory. A youth asked Yogi Maharaj that how is he able to see all these different crowds and achieve glory? It is due to washing clothes. Midnight, 175, unexpected guests arrive. Breakdown in Saharanpur Mandir. He is the one who gets up and cooks for them. 150 rotla pre-dawn preparation. He recalls, he tells the youth that I used to wake up at 3 a.m. and make about 150 rotlas, and then he says that even at his old age, now he has dreams of making chapatis from 10 kilogram flour, cleaning cow sheds, telling devotees, I am that servant. Pledge to monastic vows. This is all about him refusing his family members, absolute refusal to meet blood relatives. When his brother comes to Ahmedabad Darshan, Yogiji Maharaj walked away to the kitchen and busied himself in seva. Refusing, Shashi Maharaj calls, who told him that he is a Gunatit sadhu. He is not going to meet you. Even when young brother Chagan Bhai served at the Gondo office, Yogiji Maharaj would never speak to him or even look at him. When devotees mentioned Dhari or his caste, he had complete denial. I don't know what that is. I am Brahma. I belong to Brahmahal. Strict 68 celibacy observance. When a girl child unexpectedly approaches him, calmly accepts missing breakfast as repentance, and in the Nairobi airport, he refuses to passengers. Finally deplaned. At 70, with deteriorating health, doctors advise bed use, but Yogi Maharaj says that Maharaj has not obeyed, not ordained to do this, and so he doesn't even use it. He says to the young sadhus to maintain rigorous discipline, to prescribe all these different strict rules, to keep only 11 items, observe Nirjada facts, a stickler for vows. A stickler for vows is all about Yogi Maharaj, his humility. Shashi Maharaj frequently says that he has all the 64 qualities of a sadhu as described in the Hindu Shastras. Whenever his birthday comes, he said, I dislike the celebration of my birthday. He sometimes even prostrates between the young Parshad Ghanshyam Bhagat who read Bhagaji Maharaj's biography, and one day he starts prostrating before him and tells him, look what faith he has. During the 75th birthday celebration during the Amrut Mahotsav in Gondal, thousands celebrated. Yogiji Maharaj saw that the food wasn't ready and he started plucking the spinach himself and says, let me cook. He refuses personal recognition for institution. When they wanted to name the Gondal hostel after him, they said, no, it cannot be named after me. Chapter 14, Bonding with the Guru, has a first meeting in Krishnaji Ada's Rajkot house, and Krishnaji Ada says that there's no sadhu like Shashi Maharaj, 40 years of meticulous obedience. He obeyed all of his different orders, woke up early in the morning and used to serve him for 13 days, refusing equal status with the sadhu. When a youth said, you appear us to be greater than Shashi Maharaj, he was startled. He pulled back his feet. He's like, no, this is wrong with this. I will have to observe Chandrayaan. Shashi Maharaj says that I am Yogi. Yogi is me. When Shashi Maharaj was about to pass away, he said that Yogi will complete the Garada Mandir. Chapter 15, icon of motherly love. This is when he visits all of these different huts and poor farmers and villagers just to fulfill their wishes. He visits a poor farmer hut in scorching heat, and when he said, Babaji, please come to my hut, despite the afternoon, and he sat on quilt, and he initiated the disciple, gave murtis, and Jetu Parab Valo had a low caste devotee had a wish for Swami to come to his hut, and 2 years later, during a dusty bullock cart journey, he stepped in the dark hut where Jeto offered coconuts, sugar crystals, and two pieces of food. He prioritizes the railway linesman who requested to visit, and despite Mota Swami saying about the heat and the delayed lunch, Swami says no. Think about his feelings and affection. He also nurses ailing devotees and sadhus. When Vidu Bhagat had a fever, he left to massage his feet, and he said, if you stay here to massage his feet, I will go to the assembly. Then he stays, even serves the outcast. When there was a Daya Bhagat of Bhagur Dia, when the youths mocked him, it was only Swami Shri that got in Yogi Maharaj that got up and brought to him snacks and started caring for him. Hardship was bhakti. The car broke down in the rain while traveling to Gadada 3 times, and he got up and he even pushed the cart himself, but ultimately he had to transfer to a new cart. He visited many of these different homes, 175 houses in one day, despite the rain, despite the weather conditions. While observing a waterless fast on Ekadashi day, he left at 9:30 a.m., returned at 6, rested 15 minutes, and then went out again at 8:15 p.m., followed by Katha until midnight. He told the youth that I am suffering from 17 different diseases, but I do not worry about them while doing these. But how many youths are my heart? Narayan by broken sandals. When his sandals were broken and it caused blisters after walking with one broken sandals, he felt distress and he embraced him, saying, I shall free you from the clutches of worldliness. A young stranger was left alone when other devotees departed, and seeing that, Swami Shri stopped the crowded car and squeezed him to make space. He's a stranger here. How will he come? And when suggested that he should take the bus, he started prostrating to the sleeping youths at midnight, saying that they have sacrificed and left everything behind just to do this type of seva. He also learned English, saying that tomorrow fast, and he joked about not learning tomorrow, break the fast. 51 in sadhu's initiation, he initiated them. That was his goal. Chapter 18, without haste, without rest. This is all about the importance of doing sabhas. So the Surat railway station encounter at Hari Krishna Patel tells him that even though there are only people, only 3 to 4 people that attend your sabhas, still do them, and make it a rule to hold them. Just do katha to the pillars. The Donja devotees dilemma when Magan Bhai said that only 2 people attended the assembly, said that Donja may not have any devotees today, but satsang will thrive in days to come. When Magan Bhai said that, there was a London Mandir procession. African postal miracle. There was a letter that was just named Yogiji Maharaj Kampada that reached him. It was a miracle. No one knew how it actually happened. At night, Swami called 2 sadhus and made them wish he could travel to another decade, saying, I will not rest, then I will keep traveling until 84th year to grow devotees by 100,000. Swamiji's correspondence, all about the letters. When a postman brought a pile of letters, Swamiji blessed him, patted him on the back 3 times, and says, you have emptied the whole stock, and gave him prasad. when Vinu Bhagat gave Swami only just one of identical postcards from Netrapai Shukla, Swami insisted on seeing actually all of them, bring all of his letters for darshan always. The handwriting confusion, a devotee once mistook the dispatch number 20432 to be actually only 25, and he actually misunderstood that to be the number of Mahapujas that he actually wanted to sponsor. And so he wrote back saying he could only afford 200, and this caused him laughter. And there was ineligible or illegible address complaint when postman complained about his handwriting on the address. Swami laughed and said he is paid for that. If he can decipher these words from Akshardham, then he will be liberated from Maya. In Nairobi, a letter that was meant for 570 box was delivered to 750 box, where a Parsi gentleman was, and that is actually also when Yogi Maharaj came to his house and said, "It is my good luck that you used my post box number." In living and enlightening speeches, when Swami noticed a devotee dozing off during discourse, he said, "A nap has no price tag. However, if you were paid 10,000 rupees for not napping, would you do it?" Swami told a humorous story about Baba, whose wife Balu ran away. Then he performed a yagna to find her. And when someone says, "Yes, she has come," then he said, "Okay, the yagna is over." Kalyandas talks about when Kalyandas left his wedding. It was the third round. He excused himself to answer nature's call, but instead just ran away to become a sadhu. In Zambia, there was an African who attended full assemblies at night, not knowing any Gujarati. And when asked why, he said, "I cannot make anything out of it, but all of my problems are resolved." Such a holy man doesn't need language to communicate. There was a European that had seen Swami in a dream, and he insisted on meeting him and told Swami that he and people told him that Swami doesn't speak English. But even after 15 minutes together, he said, "Swami talked to me about the topics that I wanted to speak, crossing the language barrier." Chapter 21, reverence for holy places and sacred objects. He goes to the Chapaya pilgrimage sacred soil collection, and he sees all of these different pilgrimage spots in Chapaya, and he collects them. He goes on top of this people tree, even though people said that they don't want him to visit this people tree where Maharaj had actually climbed, but he wanted to do darshan. He went to, whenever he was in Gadra, he would visit the old Swaminarayan Lakshmi Vadi daily, embracing the neem tree, shutting the objects by sanctified by Maharaj, rubbing dust on them, his head and islands. When he found out that the Junagadh Haveli Mandir had been destroyed by the fire, he was deeply sad, and he moved to tears when devotees brought burnt wood and stones from the site. He went on this 5 place Panch Tirth Yatra, right? 5 place pilgrimage in Sorath region. He visited every single sacred location, had stone scrolls read aloud, sprinkled holy water on the devotees, and refused to sit on a stone with Maharaj. Had sad healing touch of devotee, the Yantara Rami touch. Sheth Somabhai wanted to test if Swami could read minds, and so when he visited his home and he told him exactly the donation amount, Somabhai had mentally decided. Upon the merchant realized his divine nature. Akshay Swami once complained Maharaj about his alleged partiality, and so that is when Shashi Maharaj appeared to him in his dream and scolded him for hurting a sadhu like Jogi and ordered 51 fasts in atonement. The engineer Magan Patel, follower of many of these different spiritual leaders, he experienced profound divinity in Shashi Maharaj's room. There was a judge who left a segregated religious gathering, and that is when Swami appeared in his dreams, rebuking him. "Why did you leave early?" When doing pradakshina around the Akshardhari, Swami held the hands of 2 devotees and said, "Do you have any doubts about what this Jogi will actually do? He will be loved by all and complete all the works. May God do good to all." Chapter 23 goes to the hospital and blesses all of the patients in the hospital, prayed to Hanumanji to cure all the patients, and said all of the patients will be cured. Maharaj will cure all of them. When he learned about a train accident at Chamraj train station where many died, he sprinkled Akshardhari water for 1 mile while passing the site 40 days later and said, all those that have died will be later born as satsangis. At the Thames River Mass, blessing after bathing Hare Krishna Maharaj's Murti in the Thames, Swami declared that this river, whoever bathes in it will be reborn as humans and become Maharaj's devotees. When red ants built Swami during a religious assembly, he said that these ants have been liberated from cycles of births and deaths. When he took the trouble to cross a muddy field to 2 small mango trees, he said he touched their trunks and said, "These 2 trees have been doing penance for the last 10,000 years. Respect for all religions." When he was criticized for going to a Jain place of worship, Swami says that we did not go alone. The Murti of Thakurji was always with us. Swami had darshan of the Shivling once, and he offered a white lotus and garland and generally gave Rs 5 to each of the 10 competing people who approached him for donations. He also went downstairs to receive Goswami when he visited, and he had all the Swami touch their feet and give proper respect to Goswami. He also met Shankaracharya and welcomed him very gracefully and respectfully. He also donated RS 101 to Jalaram Baba's Mandir. And in chapter 25, daily routine, talks all about he woke up early morning, magical hours around 4 to 5:30 a.m. chanting Swaminarayan Yud, and he would have the attendants massage him, joke with drowsy sadhus, and then he had a meticulous bathing ritual. He had a precise bathing sequence. Dhoti then left, right leg, left leg, back, waist, refusing back massage by gesturing with his eyes. Guru stopped and he would not like it. He would maintain discipline even during personal care. He had this elaborate puja and tilak application during morning puja. He would only apply the tilak while looking in the mirror and sometimes drawing it to stretch out the tilak so it can be seen well by others. He would apply the tilak to other devotees who did not actually have it. He had a generous meal distribution. Though eating very little himself, he would fill other people's bowls to the brim and he would tell them to treat it like their fond memory. During the evening Akshardeti Pradakshina, he would do 51 Pradakshinas around the Akshardeti while turning his Mata, then meditate and narrate historical incidents, making this daily ritual both devotional and educational for company devotees.